Write to me at tarotbyanisha@gmail.com. You can also visit my website www.tarotbyanisha.com, and this is your monthly forecast for October 2014. Scorpions, we begin this month with a Mercury retrograde followed with by a total lunar eclipse which is conjuncting Uranus, and we wrap up the month with Venus that is going to be entering your sign. So we begin this month with a Mercury retrograde that begins from 4th of October and it carries on till 24th of October. We begin this month with a Mercury retrograde. Now, as we all know the drill, during a Mercury retrograde it's never wise to buy big ticket items, be it your washing machines, your household products, or even if it's anything to do with technology. It's normally found out during a retrograde transit that products that you may have bought could be a technical glitch, or you may find a better price or a better product, or say maybe a better version of it right after the retrograde is over. So it's normally avoidable not to buy anything expensive during these 3 weeks. It's also advised that be extremely careful as far as all your communication is concerned, be it written, spoken, emails, SMSs, conferences. Be very careful that you are articulate, that you are clear. The easiest way to go about this is to keep your communication absolutely simple. Keep it short, keep it brief, so that there are lesser chances of misunderstandings happening, be it at your personal space or be it at your workspace. Travel also is something which is ruled by Mercury. So for those of you who are traveling in October, ensure that your travel tickets are there in place, your cars and your bikes are well serviced, you are carrying all the papers with you. Also, it's found during this time that there are a lot of breakdowns, not just as far as your vehicles are concerned, but even remember to take a data backup with your laptop computers, and even for your phones. There are a lot of technical glitches again that happen with all the electronic items that we have at home. Now, Mercury, during a Mercury retrograde, which normally happens 3 or maybe 4 times in a year, it's found that during this slowing down, technically, of course, there is no slowdown per se. The planets do not come back onto their orbits, and they do not slow down. So technically, there is really nothing slowing down per se, but it's merely our illusion from the Earth, from the stationary retrograde cycle. When we view it from Earth, it seems that the illusion gets created as though the planet is moving back on its orbit. The Earth, of course, is moving at its own speed. It's orbiting around the Sun at its own speed, different from that of the various planets. So there's just a sense of slowing down of a particular planet. And Mercury also rules the lower mind, which covers our environment, of how it is that we perceive information and how it is we further relate the information to others. So everything around you tends to get affected more over there on what it is that you're hearing, what it is that someone is saying, and then further what it is that you're relaying. So be careful about especially if they are important mails, SMSs to be sent. Be just little cautious over there. Even as far as new contracts are concerned, it's not really the best of time to be signing new contracts or to be starting absolutely something new. However, if you have been carrying on, if it's a project that you have been carrying on since the last month, since say August, September, you've been working on something, and it's the time now you are sort of negotiating, or you're just closing the contract, then it is fine. But or you began the work on it and it's the work is carrying on, it's something different. But try not to start something new, because they're just unnecessary delays that happen, nothing drastic really. Also, for those of you who do pick up jobs during this time, they do not last for the longest of times, because they can be some information during a Mercury retrograde which you may not be aware about. It is not revealed during a retrograde, because it's a complete slowdown. So this is a time during a retrograde that normally we advise it's a time to revise, review, and research the work that you have done previously. So, and Mercury retrograde is going to be affecting a part of your chart that has to do behind the scenes. Now for the next 3 weeks, you may feel like you're waiting for things to come together, but you don't know exactly what they are. Kind of like watching a row of seeds you have planted, you hope something is happening. But it's hard to tell. Events for you, in fact, restructuring themselves behind the scenes, and you may be in for some surprises when all is resolved, Scorpions. Your best course is to make as few assumptions as possible and not bet on the same old horses. Be open to your own intuitive hunches and be ready to jump aboard a new bandwagon when it suddenly materializes. It may come from closer than you think and from those you might have taken granted. So have patience, Scorpions, while the universe unfolds whatever that it is happening behind the doors for you. We have a total lunar eclipse which is conjuncting Uranus on the 8th of October, and this is highlighting a part of your chart that has to do with your day-to-day chores. It has to do with your health. It also has to do with your work to a certain extent. Now the eclipse, which is conjuncting with Uranus. Now Uranus as a planet is quite the bad boy of astrology. Anything it's disruptive and it creates chaos. The Uranian energy also gives a lot of courage, and it's inspirational to a certain extent as well, because it forces you to change. It brings about, so Uranus brings about change whether you like it or not, without any great teaching involved, unlike a Saturn. And the Uranian energy is also very dynamic. It's something like what the new technology is there, you know, it's extremely inspirational. It's very now, you know, and it moves very fast. The planets are encouraging you at this point of time to draw a balance as far as your personal life is concerned and your work life is concerned, and not to get too frustrated. For those of you who are quite frustrated at your workplace or are quite disheartened with you know, work not moving as per how you would like it to move, or you know, if there was a certain prospect that you thought, or your job that could, you know, current job may have or could have materialized into something better, and if that is not happening, have patience. It's not really a time, Scorpions, to be reacting to things as of now, and especially with Uranus being over there, try not to sort of snap at people, or even be really short tempered as far as I would say, not just with other people but even with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. It's not a time really to be pushing yourself towards perfection too much. I mean, the Uranian energy will in any case push you, and the Uranian energy often encourages to break old patterns. So there is a certain way that you have been looking things, and since this is falling in a house of your day-to-day chores, and if you've not been really organized, you may just find things to be really disruptive around house, and you know, as much as hard as you try to get organized or have a certain routine, it won't happen, and your health is there, you know, you for those of you, however, on the other side, like I said, the Uranian energy also is inspirational, and it gives a lot of courage. You could have managed to crack the pattern and get into a great health fitness regime for yourself, which I think for those of you who deal with stress or get stressed very fast, that's your therapy. So keep at it, irrespective of what. You must ensure that you are constantly you know, following that particular health regime. Try and overall I would suggest that you should try and get away and do some meditation, or go for a yoga retreat, or do some tai chi, and just sort of center yourself and just calm yourself down. That is the time where you will get a lot of answers, a lot of solutions to the problems that you could have been battling with, and you must just be thinking that, oh, I can't figure out how to get my head around this. So try and you know, not worry so much this month, Scorpions. There's a lot of worry, because that is not, it won't allow the solution to come to you. So just sort of center yourself, get some peace, get some quiet, and that's a time where you will find the best of the solutions coming to you. Venus is going to be entering your sign, and this is happening around the 24th of October. And Venus, as we all know, is a planet of love, beauty, and sex, and even money. And she's going to be entering your house, and it is just going to be highlighting a need to pamper yourself more. You'll find it very hard to say no to yourself, and you would find yourself to be naturally more softer, more receptive, and romantic matters as well as all pleasure seeking activities will also come to fore now, and you're more likely to pay close attention to your physical appearance. You'll be very conscious about how it is, that physically you look, and your appearance, your mannerisms, and you would be aiming to improve your and enhance your attractiveness more. And others, of course, are going to be finding you quite agreeable and quite cooperative. Now, besides Venus making all this, and the Venus, she's a planet of all beautiful, charming, and good things, but try not to overindulge yourself. And this just doesn't have to do with the food bit of it. It has to do with retail therapy. It also has to do with behavior. If you have been sort of, don't just go off on a high horse, Scorpions, for those of you who, and it normally comes with a lot of self-indulgence, that when you don't let it sort of get you ahead, that you get so carried away with yourself that you don't want to sort of deal with others in a very grounded and a warm way. So keep the genuineness, authenticity of who you are, and where you come from. Keep that grounded while you are, becoming this beautiful and more lovely person on the outside as well. So have a great month, Scorpions. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'll see you again in November. And thank you so much.